guys! Welcome to the channel and to the method series where I showcase how I do something but also provide alternatives for you guys to try. Being in an unsure situation right now and getting slowly buried in requirements, we're not really sure when online classes are exactly gonna end and how some of us are even gonna get through this month in one piece and generally a decent grade for our troubles. Online or not, time management is something people always yearn for, if the morning assembly birthday wish of about 90% of the students in my high school are to be believed. So let's get into it! I recorded this around the time Typhoon Ulysses really affected the Philippines. I'm very thankful that my family and I are safe, and I can't say the same for other areas who were heavily flooded and as of writing this script, still are flooded. Classes for me were suspended for a week to allow time for repairs and healing, and while recording this, I do hope that it does get better and people can get back on their feet. I know that I'm fortunate that I can use this time to work on my academics, and that's why I want to use my time wisely. The things I'll be time managing in this video are actually the things I'm planning to do over the suspension, so you'll actually see how I make my plans and schedule. Time management for me is learning how to schedule and how to keep that schedule, so that's how I arranged this video. To give you guys suggestions on systems to try to help you with which one you might be having some trouble with. I'll only discuss overviews of the methods to be concise. I'll be adding some personal opinions on why certain methods wouldn't exactly work for me. Please don't see that as me pushing you towards my method. I just want to give my input based on how I know I work. So if you want to get more info and learn about stuff that I mentioned, then check out my sources in the description. The first section are systems to help prioritize and schedule. This is the most common way to prioritize that I've seen. You just divide your paper into 4 areas and make an important and urgent chart. So you'll have urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and not important and not urgent. Get that? Important meaning there'll be bad consequences if you don't do it, and urgent meaning it has a set time when you have to do it, like a deadline. You accomplish it left to right, top to bottom. So you do your urgent and important first, then your important but not urgent when you're done. By doing that quadrant next, you're helping ensure that it doesn't even get to the urgent part when it's already done. That frees up your time to do the not important but urgent, which you can delegate to other people, and the both nots, which you're supposed to quote-unquote delete. Personal opinion, I kinda don't agree with the delete part because people need rest and hobbies too. But the actual system is pretty good at helping you prioritize and know which ones to do first. This is a method by Anthony Robbins, and it basically gets you to prioritize by giving you 3 questions to answer. What do you really want? What's your purpose? And what do you need to do? Using your answers to those 3 questions, you can now think of a step-by-step plan of how you can do the thing you want. By adding the why you're doing it part, it's also attaching emotion to the task and making you more invested. Personal opinion, I don't really think this is that effective, especially those students who don't have a personal drive yet. For most of the time, students are studying. Their purpose is just to finish school. So just knowing what you really want isn't exactly effective. But you could try it out to see if it works for you. The Pareto Principle is an economics thing that got translated into planning. It basically says that 20% of the things you do now will make up 80% of the outcome later, which came from studying economics in Italy in 1895, where 20% of the population had 80% of the wealth. So in this method, you make a list of 10 goals, then decide which 2 would make the most positive impact on your life. Then you finish those 2 tasks, which are your 20%, before you do anything else. Then just slot in the 80% in the rest of your time if you still have time for it. Personal opinion. Sometimes it's hard looking for the positive impact if you're only seeing things from where you are, and I think it's too broad a criterion to help students decide, especially when you have all your subjects in front of you and you don't know which would make the most impact for you. This is a priority form that can be done through apps, but paper isn't so bad. It runs on the principle that you can't do so many things in a day. So you plan your day to finish 1 big task, 3 medium tasks and 5 small tasks in a day, and you just stick to those. No adding things last minute, but it is open to changes on what your tasks are. You write down all the stuff you need to do for the day, even for the week, and you categorize them into small, medium, and large tasks. Using those categories, assign them into your day. Personal opinion. A student life can't be that easily assigned to task size, and new work can pop up anytime, which might lead to some inflexibility when it comes to plans. Some days may need 2 big tasks and that's it, or 15 small tasks. That's something that can't be controlled sometimes. And the second section is systems to help work ethic. Not just a way to prioritize tasks, just tips to help do it. Procrastination is a very big factor in delaying tasks. So here are some systems that might help keep that work on track throughout the day if you're willing to try them out. Sometimes seeing grand task headings and deadlines can be daunting. So you take everything you want to do, no matter the size, then you break them down into smaller steps. What individual things do you need to do to accomplish this goal? Make them small enough that getting a start doesn't seem that hard. Making a paper is a huge commitment, but Googling possible sources doesn't sound too difficult. Take those smaller tasks, then schedule the steps instead of the actual task, so you trick yourself into thinking that getting there isn't such a big step. Personal opinion. I like the approach, but sometimes breaking stuff down can make you more anxious. Instead of making the daunting task look doable because of the easy-sounding steps, the number of those easy-sounding steps can cause you to be overwhelmed by the volume of work. This is something I've seen all around the internet that they say can help combat procrastination. When you're about to do something, convince yourself that you'll do it for 2 minutes, then if you don't feel like it, you'll stop. You want to make it easy for yourself to start. It's also the 2-minute rule because it shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes to start something you want to do. And doing it locks you into that time investment you've put in, even if it's just 2 minutes. So basically, it's the concept of, I've already started this, might as well finish it mentality. And even if you don't get into that workflow, working for 2 minutes is still better than not doing anything at all. Take a quick break, then start the 2 minutes all over again. It's not about looking so much at the big picture, but taking small steps to train yourself to your goal. Personal opinion. This is a good place to start, especially for people who procrastinate a lot, but sooner or later, resolve and self-control has to come in. Hopefully this would help you develop that so you don't have to rely on tricking yourself into doing things. Okay, this method isn't just pushing everything off till tomorrow. It's actually because you'll make a list of things that you will quote-unquote do tomorrow, but start tackling the things today. It was made by Mark Forster for his book Do It Tomorrow and Other Secrets of Time Management. This method involves making a clear list of things you want to do and keeping that closed for the day. Taking it one task at a time and only moving on to the next task when you're done. You try to do small steps often instead of trying to do big things in one go. But you have to make sure you give yourself a finite amount of time to accomplish what you just need to do, instead of just leaving it open-ended, which might lead to just putting it off. In this system, you limit interruptions as much as you can so you can focus on finishing your tasks. Thinking that you'll do the rest of the tasks tomorrow reframes your thinking into focusing more on the task at hand rather than all the other things you have to do for that day. This system also suggests that you try to separate which things you're committed to doing and which things you're interested in to know where to place your time. Personal opinion, having a closed task list is something that is not ideal for a student, especially in online classes. Giving of requirements may be limited by not having a class, but there are other things like extracurriculars, family matters, and personal things that may pop up even if you try to limit interruptions. This is the easiest technique to understand in my opinion. Eating the frog basically means doing the thing you don't like or the thing you'll most likely procrastinate on at the start of your day. Then ride high on that sense of accomplishment for the rest of your tasks. Normally, with the tasks we hate, we put it off to the last thing we do, which might leave us without enough time to finish it or even do it well. So by doing the hardest one first, it's supposed to prevent procrastination because the rest of your work is much more enjoyable. Personal opinion, doing the hardest one first is good if it works for you. For me, my brain only works during the afternoon and I'm pretty brain dead in the morning and night. so I prefer to learn when I'm most functional and do the hardest tasks then. And as usual, my method is a big mix of a bunch of these previous methods, but surprisingly, I didn't know about them until I started research for this video. I start with making a brain dump. I take one of my trusty pad papers and just write down all the things I need to do. Doesn't have to be all work. I make sure to just add some time to relax in there too. I color code mine in line with my planner color codes, even on these to help my brain distinguish tasks easier. When I think of more, I just add it in because I can't just close off my schedule to things, and it doesn't work with the constant flow of requirements from student life. I look through my planner monthlies. It's where I usually put my due dates to know which deadlines are coming up first. I know my priorities, and you just do the thing. THING is an acronym I made up to summarize my workflow. It stands for time, hard work, impact, needed, and G. Time is basically the time until it's due. If it's given today and due tomorrow, you should do it as soon as you can. Things with no due date, like cleaning up, should be done in small steps as you can when you can. Hard work is how much work and effort will it take for you to do the task relative to your current available time. This isn't just do the big things first mentality. Sometimes you finish your work early and want to do another thing before sleeping. So instead of starting a large project that you probably won't finish in time, just think of what you can finish in time you have to work. You schedule tasks to when you can best do it or when you have time for it. Impact is just the effect on you. It may be on physical things like your grades or just on yourself. Like those bonus papers that aren't required, you do them because they have an impact on your grade. If you're deciding between doing two things, see what has a more positive impact on how you are and your grades. That's why having relaxation time and self-care is also important to me because of the impact it has on the quality of work. Make sure you can balance these two things so you don't drive yourself crazy. Needed is just if it needs to be done. Going back to the bonus point paper, if the bonus it gives isn't that good and the effort you have to put in is more than you can give, then don't do it. I added this as a catch for those who can rationalize that even if it's required, it takes long and it's not worth the point, so I'll skip it. Don't. I've gone there, and if you have the time and mental energy to do it, especially when it's required. G is just good or game. Like, what's part of my chat phrase vocabulary now? Are you G to do it? That G. Are you in the right headspace to work? Which one would you rather do? If multiple things are still equal in priority level, just do what you're more excited to do first. If you're happy with it, you'll get into a workflow and want to do more things while you're still in the zone. So kinda the opposite of the eat the frog technique. Here are some of my general tips for scheduling. Don't feel bad if you're not as detailed as I am. I know what style works for me and I'm happy with the results. Sure, feel free to try out my planning system by checking out the planner video and getting a printable in the description. Just don't pressure yourself too much if it doesn't work for you. Everyone's different, and I'm just here to give you guys ideas and maybe some inspiration. The next is when you start your day, think to yourself, what one or two things can I accomplish today that I'll be satisfied with at the end of the day? Regardless of how long you might have overslept, regardless of how much you procrastinated that day, if you finish these things, you'll be okay. Find those. You can schedule as much as you want for that day. Doesn't make it easier to do. Doesn't make it take less time. Every task done is a small victory. If you finish your top one or two things that day, if you can, then add some more tasks and lighten the load for future you. Know when you work. When you're more active at a certain time, then do your most challenging work there. This is part of the hard work part of the priority list. Can you put in the work at that time? For me, I don't like making papers at night because my brain tends to get fuzzy and not explain things well. I'd rather work on more visual things because I do that better when I'm not as analytical and hyper-focused. Lastly, take care of yourself. If you need a break, take a break. If you need a nap, take a nap. Have other hobbies that aren't academic related. Better, factor that into your schedule. When you need to sleep, when are breaks, how long after meal times can you chill for a bit? Time to do something you love. Studying for hours straight isn't gonna do you any good long term. You might get the grades, but you'll feel exhausted and it might even hinder you from doing other things that need doing because of brain drain. You need time to recharge and don't feel guilty about that if you know you're already doing your part to work hard. I hope you guys found this video helpful, especially with finals coming up. Getting buried in homework sucks, and hopefully these techniques can help you manage that. How do you manage your time now? Any of these techniques you want to try? Leave them in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!